أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الشيطان الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الأول قبل الإنشاء والآخر بعد فناء الأشياء العليم الذي لا ينسى من ذكره ولا ينقص من شكره ولا يخيب من دعاه والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. My dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أوصيكم عباد الله وأوصي نفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل والورع عن محارمه. I do advise myself and all of you to acquire and maintain taqwa, for it is the only way we can guarantee for ourselves success in this world as well as in the hereafter. Taqwa, which is derived from the word wiqaya, means to acquire a certain protection and a shield against anything that would harm you. Taqwa, in the real sense, is having the ability to be able to respond in the manner required to the orders and commands of our Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And taqwa, in its actual sense, is a malaka, is a proposition, is the power that protects a person against all the evils, against going against the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa in this sense is the means to guarantee proper success in all affairs, not only in material, in spiritual matters, but even in material issues and affairs. And for this reason, we are always supposed to encourage one another and to urge one another to have taqwa. It is something that we must work on and strive to acquire. Well, across the globe, Muslims have started marking the birthday anniversary of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Remembering the birthday of the Prophet and marking this important day provides an opportunity for us as Muslims as well as to non-Muslims to try and understand this noble personality, to try and understand what this great personality stood for. What did he come for? What did he preach? It is an opportunity to reconnect with the whole Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to embrace his values and his guidance. It is a chance for us to try and understand this personality and learn from it. And I've thought of discussing with you today about one of the major endeavors of the Holy Prophet ﷺ in guiding us as human beings, and that is restoring the human dignity and value. The Prophet ﷺ came to a world that was so much in darkness, divided, disunited, and had no system. People were living on the basis of blood relationships. A human being was not really understood. What was the value of human being? What did he stand for? What is his position in this universe? This wasn't clearly understood. And the Prophet defined a human being, and that he is a creature of Allah, and that he has been endowed with faculties that make him different and unique from other creatures. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevated the position of a human being by giving him the power to reason, and as well as other instincts that were necessary for his own growth. And that a human being occupied a special position in the existence of all creatures. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا. We have honored Bani Adam, elevated their position. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have surely created a human being in the best form. He is extinguished, is different from other creatures. He has a special position, a vicegerent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the earth. The Prophet restored this and tried to instill it in the human society and the people, trying to tell the people what you are, what's the true meaning of you, what's your value, and where do you stand. And he erased all other imaginations that people had occupied in their minds about the human being, and made them to understand that other external features do not really distinguish a human being and do not give him the position. The other differences that we see, whether it is in terms of color or in terms of language or race or any other differences that are seen in the physical appearance of human being, they do not make a human being different from another. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Ar-Rum, He tells us, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. The among the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creation of the skies, the heavens, and the earth. وَاخْتِلَافُكُمْ فِي أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. And your differences in language, in the way you speak, as well as in your colors. These are the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for you to think about. They serve other purposes. They are supposed to make us understand the power and the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And are not supposed to be the basis of differentiating between the human beings, as many people had tried to entertain it. And on this same basis, the Prophet emphasized that there is no difference between people on the basis of phrase. لا فضل لعربي على أعجمي ولا لأعجمي على عربي ولا لأحمر على أسود ولا لأسود على أحمر إلا بالتقوى. That there is no difference, that no one is superior to another. An Arab is not superior to a non-Arab, or a non-Arab is superior to an Arab, or not, or a person with a different color is superior to another one, except on the basis of taqwa. The basis of differences among the people is only based on taqwa. And he further emphasized and told the people that when it comes to humanity, you are all equal. الناس سواسي كأسنان المشط. That you are all equal like like a comb. There's no difference amongst you. This was a shock for the community that had built classes amongst the people. There is a master, there is a slave. But the Prophet ﷺ forged ahead and to establish this fact. And those who believed in him and followed his path were blessed with this great blessing of unity and brotherhood. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions to us in the Holy Quran when he says, هو الذي أيدك بنصره وبالمؤمنين. He's the one who supported you by his own support and through the mu'mineen. وألف بين قلوبهم. And he joined their hearts. لو أنفقت ما في الأرض جميعا. Had you spent all what is there in the earth to try and unite them, you wouldn't have done so. ولكن الله ألف بينهم. But Allah united them. إنه هو العزيز الحكيم. He is the mighty and he is the wise. With the Prophet ﷺ, therefore, it became possible to unite people around one important issue, and that's the belief and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was a great blessing, because unity is strength, unity is a source of power that is needed at all times. And it's for this reason we have been reminded to maintain this blessing and not to forget about it. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Hold upon the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of you together. Hold upon the book of Allah and the teachings of Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the A'immah alayhim salam, all together. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And do not disperse, do not get into differences and differ from one another. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Remember the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you, that when you were enemies, Allah joined you together. Now, people, when they were fighting with one another for years and years, and they had no solution, not on a clear basis, because there was no system, there was no proper criteria for why they should be fighting, only that they did not like each other, or they did not ensure that their own interests are maintained, so they fought. Aus and Khazraj fought for more than 100 years, as we are told. But because of the Prophet ﷺ and his own teachings, that they became brothers and they were ready to share all that they had. وَكُنْتُمْ عَلَى شَفَا حُفْرَةٍ مِنَ النَّارِ فَانْقَذَكُمْ مِنْهَا. You are close on the blink of falling into the fire. Between you and the hell was just death. You die and you go to hell. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved you from that. Therefore, you should not forget this blessing. You shouldn't forget this ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed on you because of the iman, because of the faith that was brought to you. by the Prophet. And you should not accept anything that comes in between you and your unity, and your brotherhood. أطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا تنازعوا فتفشلوا وتذهب ريحكم. Obey Allah and the Messenger, and do not dispute with one another, lest you lose your energy, you lose your power, you lose your strength. تذهب ريحكم. The warmth that is there between you goes away when you start entertaining disputes and disagreements. Interestingly, despite all these teachings that we find in the Holy Quran and in the Ahadith, that the trend of human beings, trend of us as Muslims, is to promote disunity. We work so hard to maintain disunity. This is a fact. Muslims try not to look at what unites them. They look at what disunites them. They do not accept the fact that they are all believers in one God, in the Holy Prophet, and they have one Qibla, they have one Quran, they perform prayers, they share major principles. They would look at what we differ on and make that to be the basis of their differences and promote it so much. Promote security.